Hey, boys and girls, it's Miss Ivory. Are you ready for a new multiplication strategy? All right, so we've learned how to multiply by 10 and by 100, and then we learned how to estimate products, and then we learned how to use the distributive property of multiplication, and we learned yesterday how to do partial products. So this next strategy is called the area model. And you may recall from third grade that your teachers may have taught you the area model for a 2 by 1 multiplication problem before they taught the standard. So we're going to review a 2-digit by 1-digit factor, and we're going to do 6 times 34. So before we get started, get your paper, get something to write with, not a marker, but a pencil, so that you can copy and practice with me. You need to see it, you need to hear it, and you should be doing it as well. So go grab your tools and come back. All right, so here we go. So this is an interesting strategy, but I really, really like it. So because we have a 2-digit factor, we are going to estimate and then do the area model. So if I were to estimate, this would be 6 times 30 because 34 is closest to 30. So 6 times 30 would get me 180 would be my product. So I know that 6 times 34 is going to be greater than this, but it's going to be close. So here's the area model. So copy this, and then we're going to draw a rectangle. We need to make it big enough because we're going to write inside our rectangle. So here's the rectangle, and we're going to divide this box up into the tens and the ones. So because the tens place is a greater value than the ones place, we are going to make this the ones and this the tens. So this one's a little bit bigger than the tens place. I mean the ones place, sorry. It's at the end of the day, I'm tired, I'm sorry. All right, so now we are going to we're going to expand 34. I have a plus sign right here where that line is. We're going to expand 34 as 30 plus 4. And then this factor here goes to the left. So copy this, and now you'll see why this works so amazingly. I'm going to take my 2 pointers, and this one's going to go up, this one's going to go to the left, and inside we're going to write 6 times 30. Kind of like the distributive property, how we distributed this factor, we multiplied it times this one, and then we're going to distribute this factor and multiply it times this in this box. So in this rectangle, we're going to write 6 times 4. Always write this inside, please, so you don't forget your equation. So we know that 6 times 3 is 18, and 6 times 30 would be 180. And 6 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 6 is 24. And if we add that up, 180 plus 24, we get 4 ones, 10 tens. We're going to regroup. And then we have 2 add-ins in the hundredths place, and that adds up to a total of 204. Let's compare that to our estimation. We knew this one was going to be a little low, but it is a reasonable answer. It is close to 204. So go ahead and finish copying this. And then we're going to do a 1-digit by a 3-digit factor. And let's see, it's just going to get a little bit bigger in your rectangle. Okay, so I am going to ask you to pause and finish writing, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now we have a 1-digit factor times a 3-digit factor. So let's write the equation first, and then we'll estimate. This 413 is between 400 and 500. It's closest to 400, so our estimation will be 3 times 400. And we know that 3 times 4 is 12, so 3 times 400 is 1,200. So this product here is going to be a little bit greater than our estimate because 413 is more than 400. Let's draw our area model. So because we have a 3-digit factor, we have ones, tens, hundreds, our area model that we're going to draw is going to have 3 sections. It's going to have hundreds, tens, and ones. So let's draw that first. And again, draw it nice and big because we have to be able to write our equation inside. All right, we're going to do our hundreds, tens, and our ones place. This factor here is going to go to the rows because it's rows times columns when you learned in 3rd grade. So this is the rows, and then your columns will be your other factor. And we're going to expand that as 400, the value of the hundreds, plus the value of the tens, plus the value of the ones place. So we need to get our little horns or our antennas. And we're going to put them in this first, the hundreds box, and this one goes up, this one goes left. What are our 2 factors? 3 times 400. So let's write that inside. 3 times 400. Get your pointers ready. And this one's going to go up, and this one's going to go left. What are the 2 factors for this area? 3 times 10. 3 times 10. And the last one, go up and over. Our 2 factors are 3 times 3. We're going to write 3 times 3 inside. Then we're going to, I always like to underline the basic fact. 3 times 4 is 12. And these 2 zeros here, we're going to put them on the back, but watch what happens to the value. Right now it looks like 12. If I add 1 0, that changes the whole value. It shifts all these to the left. So now the 10 is in the hundreds place, the 2 is in the tens place, and the 0 is in the ones place. But we need to shift it over one more time by putting that 0 at the end. And then that pushes all those digits that were in the tens and ones now to the thousands and the hundreds place. And we can put our comma. 3 groups of 10, or 3 times 10 is 30. And 3 times 3 is 9. Now we're going to add up these 3 partial products, but we have to make sure we use place value positions and we stack and add them up correctly. So I've got my thousands place, my hundreds place, my tens place, and my ones place. I'm going to write this number first. Then I'm going to write this partial product. And last, we'll add the 9. All right, now that my work is nice and organized, we can add up our ones place. We have 3 add-ins, but we only get 9 when we add those together. We have 3 tens and 0 tens, which is 3 tens. We're going to bring the 200 down and the 1,000. And our product is 1,239. Is that reasonable to our estimation? Yes. Yes, it is. So we did a good job. All right, boys and girls, we're going to do one more. And I want you to copy everything. And this time we're going to do a 4-digit. So get ready. We're back. Here's our last practice problem for the day. I want you to write in your journal 2 times 6,583. Then we're going to estimate 6,583 is between 6,000 and 7,000. And this is our midpoint is 5. So I know that I need to round this to 7,000. So 2 times 7,000 equals 14,000. So our estimated product or our final product will be close to our estimation of 14,000. Now, we're going to make a really long rectangle that includes thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. So draw with me on your paper. And we're going to divide it into thousands, hundreds, tens, and the ones place. Now remember, this factor goes here because that's your rows, and rows go horizontally and columns go up and down. So this is rows times columns, kind of like what you learned in third grade when you did arrays. So we're going to write this number in expanded form, the value of each digit starting with the value of the thousands place, which is 6,000. Plus this value here is 500. Plus this value here is 80. And this value here in the ones is just 3. Remember what to do with these two fingers? You're going to put them in the thousands place. This one's going to go to your left and this one goes up. What two factors go in this box? 2 times 6,000. All right. What two factors go in this box? 2 times 500. And guess what? We're going to distribute this factor to this factor. 2 times 80. And we'll distribute this factor to the ones place. 2 times 3. Remember, boys and girls, if you need to, you can pause, copy this, and then catch up with Miss Ivory. And let me do a favor. Let me scoot this up so you can see it better. Sorry about that. All right, so 2 times 6 is my basic fact, which is 12, but I have 2 times 6 1,000s. So that would be 12,000. And here is 2 times 5. We know 2 times 5, but we have 2 times 5 100s, which would be 1,000. In here we have 2 times 8, but that's really 2 times 8 tens, and that would be 160. Sorry. And then this is 2 times 3, and that is 6. What are we going to do with all of this? We're going to stack it and we're going to add it. I'm going to use this space here, and I'm going to use this as my 10,000s, my 1,000s, my hundreds, tens, and ones. So I'm going to write 12,000. Keep everything lined up, nice and neat, boys and girls. This is where most kids make careless mistakes because their numbers are not in the correct place value. So they end up adding something in the hundredth place with something in the tens place and missing the whole thing. Yet they got all this right, and then they blow it right here. So be careful. Be very, very careful. Okay, now we're going to put 160. And then our last partial product is 6. And we'll add it all up. Let's start in the ones place. We have 4 add-ins here, and the value is 6. In the tens place, we have 3 add-ins, and we have 6 tens. Here we have 1 100. Here we have 2,000 plus 1,000 is 3. And then bring down the 10,000. And our product is 13,166. Is that reasonable? Absolutely, because our estimate was 14,000. All right, boys and girls, make sure you finish copying this because this is going to be what you're doing today. After this video, leave your notes open so you can refer back to them. You're going to have some slides to do. And remember, you can't be in present mode to type and drag on the Google Slides. Okay, you have to be in the small mode so that you can type your answers in or click and drag.